Look at this face. This 1970s mugshot captures a young man about to become one of the most brutal serial killers in South American history. Now look at this one. This is a cheerful, elderly vlogger smiling warmly, sharing folksy life advice with a massive audience online. These two faces belong to the exact same person. His name was Pedro Rodriguez Filho, and over the course of his life, he claimed to have murdered more than 100 people. How does a mass murderer with a triple-digit body count walk free from prison, only to spend his final years as a celebrated internet celebrity? Pedro's violent streak started early on the streets of Brazil. He took a vigilante approach, actively hunting down other criminals, killing his first 2 targets at just 14 years old. The authorities finally caught up with him in 1973. But placing him behind bars didn't end his violence. The prison system simply concentrated his targets into a single enclosed space. While serving his sentence, Pedro meticulously hunted down his fellow inmates. He executed precisely 47 men from inside the prison walls. He established himself as the ultimate authority on the cell block, continuing his self-appointed executions while under the watch of maximum security guards. The state intended to punish him by removing him from society. Instead, they unknowingly provided him with a tightly packed hunting ground where he operated with impunity. For that massive list of casualties, the courts handed down a sentence that matched the severity of his crimes. He was convicted and ordered to serve an astonishing 128 years in prison. But there was a significant legal loophole built into the system at the time. Under Brazilian law, the absolute maximum time any citizen could physically be kept behind bars was legally capped at 30 years. That strict statutory limit effectively erased 98 years of his required prison time, overriding the judge's mandate. Because the legal framework relied on this hard time limit, the man who claimed 100 victims finished his requisite 3 decades, packed his bags, and legally walked out of prison in 2018. A legal framework built on rigid expiration dates rather than public safety guaranteed that an unrepentant killer would eventually return to the streets. Once he was free, Pedro didn't disappear into the shadows or attempt to live a quiet life under the radar. He stepped directly into the spotlight. He set up a camera and reinvented himself for the digital age, launching a YouTube channel to openly broadcast the details of his history. The content he produced was jarring. He used his extensive track record of violence as a credential, leaning into the camera to warn modern teenagers to stay away from crime. The internet's deep obsession with true crime provided the perfect audience. The platform monetized a remorseless mass murderer, transforming his lethal past into sanitized influencer content. But a massive subscriber count doesn't delete history. Pedro successfully navigated the courts, but the enemies he made on the outside had very long memories. On March 5, 2023, the 68-year-old internet star was suddenly targeted in a violent, highly coordinated drive-by shooting. The hit took place on a street corner in Mogi das Cruzes. 2 unidentified men carried out the execution with cold efficiency and vanished into the sprawling cityscape. Despite the brazen nature of the daytime attack and his immense public profile, no suspects have ever been identified or brought in for questioning. Digital armor and internet fame offers zero physical protection against the analog violence of the criminal underworld he once ruled. After decades spent as a self-appointed executioner, he met the exact same fate he had dealt to others. His death was a textbook application of the street justice he had pioneered since he was a 14-year-old kid with a gun. The list of potential suspects is practically endless, with over 100 claimed victims, 47 dead inmates, and millions of daily viewers. The motive to pull that trigger could belong to almost anyone. His files remain open, leaving behind one final, haunting question. After a lifetime of publicly confirmed kills, who finally killed the killer?